Uh, I appreciate your time. And you know what I like best about these Monday night calls? In fact, all of our calls is the beginning of all of the calls. Everybody introducing themselves from around the world as they come in, and everybody, get to see everybody's smiling face and feel the energy that's coming from everybody. So, hey, we've kind of changed things up a little bit here this evening, and you're going to hear from somebody else besides me. That's probably a good thing. You can give you a little hoo-ha, right? What I wanted to do first, and maybe some of you guys saw this video, maybe some of you didn't see the video, but let me start by saying this. Hey, if you're brand new to iHub Global, congratulations and welcome. What we do here on these Monday night Zooms is kind of tell the story, right? We tell the iHub Global story, and then we, but we just had our launch event. We had our launch event on Saturday. Everything that we'd been doing for the past 9 months was all, culminated on Saturday. We broadcast from Wari Studios in Las Vegas to tens of thousands of locations around the world. And it was an absolutely incredible event. And the guys are going through the editing of the 7 hours of video that we accumulated, and they'll put that together over the course of the next few days, and they'll have that available for everybody to watch. So, what I wanted to do was start out by showing you something, and I think it's really and I can't leave this out, right? I mean, I can't leave out the fact that I don't know if everybody besides me got excited about the fact that on the day that we launched, that helium hit an all-time high, right? We don't take credit for all of that. We're going to take credit for some of it, and some of us will take credit for all of it. But almost $60, right? I mean, $60. Can you imagine? And so it was perfect timing, and it was actually predicted to happen. So it's happened. So hey guys, what I want to do is, if you didn't watch this video, I'm going to show this to you, and then I'm going to turn the call over to somebody one of our VIPs, John Cini, and he's going to walk you through a bunch of things. So hang on one second.
The news is headlined by disruptive technologies that are rapidly transforming the world. Terms like blockchain, cryptocurrency mining, and digital transformation dominate the financial and technology news. But so do less pleasant things like COVID, tariffs, supply chain crisis, the rising cost of fuel, travel, unemployment, and social unrest. There's no denying the world is a vastly different place than it was just a couple of years ago. But innovation and crisis often spur disruption and unique opportunity. We see it with the exponential growth of the Internet of Things, the connecting of everyday devices. Items like automobiles, health monitoring devices, package tracking, scooters, even simple security devices. IoT data access from traditional providers, like the cell phone companies, is just too expensive. And that's where we come in, and where you can too. With iHub Global, you have the opportunity to be a part of that solution where you live. A small device in your home or business can make you a part of this new distributed infrastructure. While people and things use our grid, our iHub hotspots enable you to become a provider for this new decentralized network. You'll get your own crypto wallet when you plug our device in. There's no catch. We need you to help us build a network that will positively change the entire world. We all know that businesses, education, and even healthcare are being forced by safety protocols, convenience, and even new laws to an online model. Many people think we'll return to normal in a year or so. We don't agree. When the world settles into new ways of doing things, the infrastructure must and will change with it. An equally disruptive technology is needed. In our decentralized infrastructure, iHub Global is part of the People's Network and is positioned to be the right solution at the right time for this digital transformation. The network is the architecture for the Internet of Things, but it's also solving problems that real people face. Through our iHub marketplace, we're introducing telehealth, a timely solution for healthcare, including mental health, that aligns with the direction many healthcare practices already mandate. Using our IoT technology, we can offer cutting-edge healthcare solutions. We're also launching a cost-effective way for people to travel, as well as financial services. And we're just getting started, but we need people who get it. People who want to be a part of initiating a positive revolution. People who see the opportunity. Most of us are sick and tired of living in a model pioneered in the 1950s. And so, one of our missions is helping folks to fully embrace the desire for more balanced lives by enabling them to be a part of the connective tissue of this new world paradigm shift. In our model, there is no replacement for you. No cell towers, server farms, or social networks. Plug in to the iHub community, a people's network for the real world, and position yourself at the hub of a global digital transformation.
So guys, that was the video that we showed on the let me get out of the screen share. So that was the video that we showed at the event. And you know what I'm going to do right now is turn the Zoom over to John Cini. And you know what I'd like everybody to do while John's going through some information is, if you were at the live event, raise your hand. If you watch the live event from, your home or office or wherever, raise your hand. We want to see who has, because I know John wants to call on a few of you. So with that, hey, John, I'm going to turn it over to you, buddy. Are you muted? Michael, have we muted on John? Oh, you know what? We didn't. Did we get John in?
Yeah, you got to make him a co-host. Yeah.
As a co-host, right? Well, John, we're gonna solve that problem here in a second. Problem solved.
Awesome sauce. Hey, Chuck, can you hear me?
Hear you fine, buddy.
All right, fantastic. I have not seen that video.
I hadn't seen it either. I was there the whole time, and Michael said,
Yeah.
"Hey, did you see the video?" And I said, "What video?" Right? And so
That is fantastic. What a great video. I don't know who did that, but you knocked it out of the park on that. So thanks for having me on here. And I just have to tell everybody, Chuck and I didn't know each other prior to iHub, but I knew his name. I think anybody who has been in the networking world over the last couple decades has definitely heard his name, but we had never worked together. But boy, I tell you, we're in the right place at the right time. And I'm so glad that our paths crossed. And the reason that we met was because you talked to somebody who I knew, and that's how it goes, right? Word of mouth.
Right.
So that's how it's resulted in 1 million affiliates. Can you guys see my screen?
yes, sir.
Awesome. 1 million affiliates in 10 months. I just can't even believe it. Not even 10. It's really, if you go to the end of the year, it'd be 10 months, right? So we have an endless amount of great news, not just good news, that we've been overwhelmed with. And I like to say the stampede is on, because people are coming in here so fast. This is the event. We had the official launch of iHub Global on Saturday. For those of you that didn't see it, I'm hoping that there will be a recording of it. Maybe somebody's working hard on that now. I can't promise you that. Maybe Chuck can, but if you haven't seen it and you get a chance to, make sure you do. It was fantastic. I have to tell you, you go into a lot of these events and you're wondering, how good will it be? And my expectations were greatly exceeded. So I was really happy with all of that. I mean, the evening at the Skyfall Lounge was icing on the cake, but the whole event Saturday, I mean, we were just glued to our seats with one speaker after another. If you're not familiar with how we get paid in iHub Global, well, when you host a hotspot, you get paid in the Helium cryptocurrency, which is Helium Network token, which you can then convert to dollars if you want, or you can, let it stay as H&T in your wallet. We just had a new payment method, how we would get the H&T delivered to us, and then we can spend right off of a Visa debit card. I'll show you that here in a minute. So that was really exciting. But you can see on the slide here what Chuck shared with us and what we saw there on the screens in the Worry Studio, where our H&T price literally went kablooey. I mean, it went up about over 50% in a couple days, and it may have been because of all the excitement. I'm going to show you a little bit of that here, and you kind of get an idea of why that H&T went vertical, which is kind of exciting. I have been showing this slide to everybody since basically June. When I plugged in here in the middle of May, I was a little late to the party, but I got a phone call from a friend of mine, and we were just talking about cryptocurrency, and he said, do you have any helium? And I said, what? Oh, yeah, you got to get one of those boxes. But we really didn't know what was going on with iHub, and we were ready to go buy 10, 20 of these boxes. Henry Vision and I, we were talking about, how are we going to do some mining? How are we going to get a good grip on some of this crypto in a big way? And, one call led to another, and all of a sudden we're plugged in here to iHub because we saw, hey, we could put, this is so funny, the transformation that we went through, we could put like 1,000 of these boxes in through iHub Global. And then we did that in like a month. And we said, okay, by the end of the year, we can put 10,000 of these machines in. And we blew by that in just a few months. It was just incredible. I'm just talking about our team, and Henry's team now is closing in on 80,000 after 6 months. Just incredible. That's a small fraction of the total company, but that just came from inviting people to look at the business, just quick text messages and quick phone calls. And all of a sudden it's turned into tens of thousands of people. And it's really blown us away. I've been in direct sales for over 3 decades. I started actually in 1989. I guess that'd be 32 years. And I'd never seen anything. I've seen some crazy growth. I've never seen anything like this. This just totally blows away everything else. And we're not asking people to spend money in order for us to make money. I mean, that's really the thing that we love about this so much more than, all the other things that we've seen. So here are our corporate officers, and it was great to meet all 3 of them and all the others that are plugged in here with the company. We got to spend quality time with all of these men and ladies. And we also saw things like this. These are the capital investors, the people that are funding iHub Global. And when you look at the amount of money they've raised, I think it's safe to say that they've raised not 7 figures, not 8 figures, but 9 figures in capital here with these organizations, George Capital and Cronus Capital. And I heard that number is going to go up, but I can't say what I've heard, but maybe Chuck can do that. But you can literally go and do your homework on these organizations, and then you will see that we're talking about some powerhouses in financing. This guy here, Mr. Ramage, actually talked about Mr. Gallagher and how successful he's been at helping humongous companies get there with tremendous financing. So just to have them in the room and to know that they were plugged in here, I think really set things off. And that's why you saw so many people diving into getting the picture of what was going on. And then we had this happen, and this was kind of like towards the end of the day, and we were all stunned. But yeah, we got to see Eric Worre, who's been known as the ultimate trainer in the whole direct sales network marketing space. He told us at that event on Saturday, right from, his own studio there, we were sitting there right in front of him. And he said that he made $15 million in his own direct sales career before he became a trainer. Then he told us a little bit later that he had 63,000 people that were registered for his GoPro event in December, just in a month. And the first weekend in December, they promoted that obviously, but 63,000 people. I think the cost to get on that virtual event is $199. I think that was the price that we saw. And, I don't have my calculator on me, but 63,000 times $200, you do the math. And that's just this year. I mean, he's been doing this for years. And so at the front of the room, he says, "No one's given me a hotspot," which was hilarious. And of course, our CEO, Rick Cotton, right there, he was Johnny on the spot and handing him a hotspot. So just the fact that he wanted one, I thought was awesome. And it was a lot of fun. He gave us a lot of great tips. We heard from so many amazing speakers. We heard from Ray Higdon, who gave us just one great line after another. He talked about the psychology of being consistent and building a network and building, your whole identity and, figuring out where you want to go with a business like this. And you could apply it to anything. It was so helpful and dynamic. I've been doing this thing for 3 decades, and I've seen Anthony Robbins 6 times. I've seen Jim Rohn. I feel like I've seen everybody. I've watched, half of the videos that Eric Worre's put out over the last 15 years. And I was eating it up, listening to Ray Higdon. And then Fraser Brooks talked about branding yourself and how to do social marketing. And that was fantastic. I mean, we just got so much from all these guys. I wish I could sit here and tell you all about it. I'm going to show you just a little bit on the H&T and what we experienced. I have to give my disclaimer that this is not, there's no guarantees here. And what you're able to see at crypto.com or any of these other cryptocurrency exchanges, past performance does not equal future results. And we're not saying that it's going to go up. We're just showing you what has happened. We can show you what's happened, but we can't predict what's going to happen. But this is, in June of last year, before iHub was even conceived, that's where it was. And then in August of this year, it busted $25. And then it went to like 26 in September. It went down, went up, it went down. And you can see the zigzags and the craziness on the screen. And, my first obvious question is, do you see a trend? By the way, crypto.com doesn't have anything to do with our company. It's just a coin exchange where you can go buy and sell Helium Network tokens. So that's the only reason that I'm showing. I've been telling people, I told people back here in June, I said, I don't care where you get it, just go get some. And that, you can see it was under $10 right there per coin. And then, boom, it shot up. That's 2.5 times. And I looked at that and I thought, I wish I had some of this back in June of last year. Heck, even at the beginning of this year, it was only like $1 per H&T. So you can kind of do the math on that and have fun at, what happened back then. But here's what happened last week, which is really mind-boggling to me, because we were up around $30 a coin, and we were kind of like walking on sunshine and saying, wow, this is fantastic, because that was a lot more than the $10 or even the $20 or $25. We thought, hey, this is good. So that's where we were at the beginning of last week. And then check this out. After all of that news and everything came out, boom, it went to over $50. Now, again, it went down, and you can see over here, I think this is a screenshot actually from today. I think that's right around $43. Whatever, if it's 38, if it's 35, if it's 45, you get the point. I mean, this has been a pretty amazing time. And I think that there were a lot more people buying it than selling it. And that's why the price goes up. And people ask us all the time, can I actually cash this stuff out? And the answer is yes, absolutely. And that is, again, from crypto.com. They're saying it went up 51% at that amount right there, from 27 or whatever it was over here to 43. That would be your 50% jump. And by the way, every time we've seen a major press release about helium, guess what's happened to the HNT price? Kind of a no-brainer there, right? So CoinZoom is going to give us the ability to move that HNT onto a Visa debit card that we can then make payments to other people. We can cash it out. We can move it into our bank. We can leave it in there. We can spend it, whatever we want to do. Real-time payments completed under 5 seconds. Billions, access to billions of accounts. I mean, it's really a fantastic setup. And, there's the Visa, spend it anywhere the Visa is accepted. Spend helium anywhere the Visa is accepted. So that's kind of exciting. I want to turn the clock back just a little bit, just to give you an idea of what we've seen just in the last 6 months. It's really incredible. And then you'll have a real appreciation for what this company has accomplished since basically March of this year. It's absolutely phenomenal. They have been getting this thing going, and it's like an airplane taking off, and everybody's jumping onto the airplane. It's kind of not a good visual these days. But August of 2019 is when they launched this thing, and this is an image of what the map of the Helium network looked like back then. A little over 2 years ago. Hey, we had 16 hotspots in Tampa and 47 in Atlanta and 31 over there in LA. I'm pretty comical. The Helium company, which we are doing marketing for, if you're new here, that company is actually headquartered in the Bay Area, out there in Silicon Valley. But they launched it right over here, just a couple hours west of me in Austin, Texas. And they, you can see they had a bunch of hotspots in a few cities, but they grew this thing out very quickly. And this is the growth that has occurred over the last 2 years. And you can see where iHub Global was conceived, thank you to Chuck Hansen, back in August, September of 2020. And then they spent the next 6 months rolling this out. Now, Helium, just so you know, the Helium network, where we are getting paid to transmit data over hotspots in our homes, in our offices, and as many homes as we can plug in here. But that data transmission network was actually conceived in 2013, and then they spent the next 6 years doing all the programming, getting the financing, getting all this in place, and they launched in August of 2019. That's what you're seeing right here, where they had 0, and then all of a sudden they had a few hundred, few thousand machines. So they had about 7,000 machines when iHub Global was conceived. And then when Henry Vigent and I first looked at Helium in the middle of May, literally back on May 15, 16, 17, somewhere around there, they had just under 38,000 of these hotspots. So they had pretty good growth right there. So added about 30,000 in that second year. But then check this out. Before the end of that second year, you can see August 2020 to August of 21. Look at that. They went from 7,000 to 100,000 hotspots. And you can go look at helium.com right now, explore the network, and you will see they are just about to hit 300,000 hotspots, which is incredible. I mean, that kind of growth, what we're doing here in 10 times in the company, going from 30,000, 38,000 hotspots to almost 300,000 in just a matter of 6 months is spectacular. And now I have here at the end of the year, I did this chart a couple weeks ago. I just had it going at 300,000 increase over that time period. And I kind of maintain that through the quarters here, 400,000 to 700,000 to 1 million hotspots. These are expected. These are projections. Again, there's no guarantees on that. That's just my opinion based on what we've seen over the last 6 months. But here's what's so exciting. Let's say that number goes to 2 million. We actually can decide how many hotspots we want to go and put out there. I mean, when have you ever had the ability, hey, how many cell towers would you like to participate in putting out there back in the 80s or 90s? And the problem with that, besides it being massively expensive to go put all those cell towers in, then you had the uncertainty of, we didn't know everybody in America was going to get a cell phone. We didn't know that. So, you compare that to today with the Internet of Things and machines talking to machines and transmitting data to each other. That's what our network is all about. If you're new here to iHub Global, that's what we're doing. We're getting paid for transmitting data from machines to machines, and that's the IoT, the Internet of Things. And so iHub Global said, we got to go and put a lot of these machines in place, and we are going to get a big percentage of that growth. Now, this was from just a week ago, November 1st, and you see we're at 275. I think the number is 295 today, a week later. I haven't had time to even go and look at that. But you look at, if we go to 400,000 by the end of the year, or by the middle of next year, and we add, iHub Global adds 274,000. This is a picture that Henry found on the iHub Global Facebook page. You can see it down here at the bottom. But that is thousands of hotspots sitting there in the company office. And, that's what's going to happen on a regular basis. They're going to have a humongous amount of these. So you look at that number and you say, wow, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of these in place in the next 6 months. And my question to you is, with iHub Global delivering all those hotspots, how many of those do you want to get paid on? And, I said, I only need about 50,000. Y'all can split the rest. But whatever that number is, I'm just kidding around. But whatever that number is, you can literally decide how you want to do that. And there are a couple commissions. I'm not going to dive deep into the commission payout, but I am going to show you what's available here. Those two commissions from building a network of these hotspots, of people getting a hotspot, acquiring it, installing it, and maintaining it. You can literally earn anywhere from 5% to 35% of the hotspot's production based on, several factors, where they join your organization and how much you have ranked up. And obviously, the more hotspots you place, the higher the percentage that iHub Global is going to reward you with. So the first commission is anyone that you personally refer. We call that a personal enrollment, or your first level. You're going to either earn 10% or 20% on those hotspots, on their production, okay? And that number is determined by what that referral is earning. So you want to get them up to their maximum referral to get that 20%. And that's really all you need to know there. You don't have to do a whole lot of math. If their machine is producing X number of H&T and you get 10% or you get 20%, you figure that out. And all of a sudden that gets real exciting very quickly, because most of us in direct sales or affiliate marketing are used to getting a small percentage of the total H&T, or the total revenue that flows. And here, this is just production by that hotspot. It's not people spending money every month. And then the second commission, underneath anyone you personally refer, you can earn 5%, 10%, or 15% of the affiliates under you. Now, you look at those numbers, you say, that's it? And I say, yep, it's pretty much that simple. Now, there are a few other things to know, and you can go watch a video on the comp plan. You can read the comp plan document and spend more time on that. But we really don't need to complicate it much more than that. Now, I am going to show you something that's not hypothetical, that it actually is real. And, you see the little disclaimer at the bottom. There are many factors that can make H&T production by a hotspot fluctuate wildly. I'm just going to show you one person from approximately 100 hotspots deployed. In the first week of November, this person earned 56 Helium Network token. All right. Now, I'm not going to do the math for you. I'm going to let you do that. But at $40 per Helium Network token, you can figure out, what the pay is on that. Now, again, that's not typical. That's not guaranteed. It's not something that everybody is going to do, but it kind of gives you an idea of what's possible. And that, again, that's not a hypothetical situation. But when you have that scenario right there, and then you start to think, well, what if I got 1,000 hotspots in place? What if I got, and you can kind of have fun with the math from there. So that's all we're going to talk about on the compensation. But once you realize that, all of a sudden, now it makes it a lot more tangible when you look at this screen right here. And if you can't see that, my apologies. But right on the screen, you can see you have two ways to lock in your hotspot. Now, the company said we're going to be able to get a free hotspot, right? And so we were all excited about that. Yeah, we want to go get a free hotspot. But the reality was that the company would have had a major problem getting all of these hotspots deployed, because when people don't have a whole lot of incentive, a lot of hotspots can sit around and not get plugged in, especially if someone didn't really see the value on that. And so what the capital partners and what iHub Global decided was they were going to have an activation fee to make sure that a couple things happen. Number one, that the person who was acquiring the device was real. So, you know, people weren't gaming the system. That's a big deal. And so they have an activation fee. They also had to set the address. That costs iHub a certain amount of money. And so they pass that on, and that's included in the application or activation fee. They also have a shipping charge. So we have shipping, we have activation, we have the address change, and then on top of that, we have an antenna package. Now, why is the antenna important? Because we found that the better your antenna, because they give you a cheap little 8-inch antenna that's 2 dBi, which if you got a lot of hotspots around you, can actually do really well for you. But if you don't have a lot of hotspots around you, you can actually get a more souped up antenna that can transmit a lot farther. And that's what you're looking at here, 5.8 dBi or 8 dBi antenna included. You get a voucher for that, and you can pick out the right antenna for you from the iHub marketplace. Once you have that antenna, and you also get a cable that you can run from the antenna to your device, so you don't have to worry about, you know, whether or not that's included. It's all a package deal right there. That's all included in your $99 setup fee, okay? Once you have that in place, then you have two choices, okay? So you can see that on both. You can get your free device with a deposit, and it's basically a $500 setup cost here with the $99 and then $400. On the date that you actually deploy that device, you would have a deposit you would be responsible for $400. Now, if you look at that and you say, wait a minute, that's too much. I thought it was going to be free. Now, all of a sudden, you're talking about me spending $500. That's right. But here's an alternative for you, which is almost the same as $0. $18 a month starting on the date of deployment. Same here, you know, $400 on the day you set it up. You plug it in, you know, when you receive it and plug it in. And so you'd have an $18 monthly lease, and that's what they're talking about right here. And that $18 a month is going to be every month that you would have the device for 36 months, I believe is the terms on that. Again, I'm not going to get into all the specifics on that lease, but you'll be able to read them in the back office as you go and decide which path is set for you. And if you remember from the promotion that Chuck and Rick gave us, and Mike, all the corporate officers gave us in the last week, they told us that if you got on the stream of Saturday, that would give you priority placement on a device. Now, keep in mind, for that priority, you still had to have a location that scored well in the assessment. Okay, so that's number one. And by the way, if you don't have a location that scored well in the location department, that's okay. It doesn't matter. You don't have to put it in your house. You can put it in mom's house, best friend, brother, doctor's office. You got a lot of choices, but get that location with a good assessment score, you know, where it says, hey, we want to put a hotspot in here. That's number one. And then number two, you've got to either get a lease or do the deposit. That's how this is going to roll out. Now, some people may say, I want a free one. I'm not going to do this. And we say, that's okay. We understand. You know, we wanted to get a device to everybody. We couldn't. Then that's just the way it rolled out. But here's something that's really exciting. And this is where things get spectacular, because anybody that's been hanging around this thing for the last few months has heard over and over and over, there's a delay in the device deployment, in the delivery. Well, iHub Global gave us this on the screen on Saturday, and so I just did a little screenshot of that. And you can see right here, hotspot delivery schedule, and these are delivery dates that they said were firm with manufacturers, okay? Now, of course, there's always going to be some potential for delays on this, but I looked at this chart, and if you haven't added those up already, that's 50,000 about right there. There's another 50, another 50, another 50. That's over 250,000 hotspots right there. That means we are going to be able to satisfy demand in the USA and Canada in the next 6 months, assuming that, the end of 2021 is already here. And we don't know how many we're getting in that time period, but I'm not worried about it. I looked at this and I said, that's fantastic. Anybody that's plugged in the last few months is going to get a machine fairly quickly compared to, I ordered a Helium hotspot from the helium.com site back in May. I still haven't seen it. I don't know where it is, and they're not telling me. And you know what? I don't even care. I mean, I do care, but if I get it, I get it. If I don't, no worries. It's not the end of the world. But we are operating in a very different fashion here with iHub, and thank goodness for that. The fact that we have that, delivery schedule, and we can rely on so many people that really care about delivering all these devices. And the other thing that you get with us is a huge network of people that are interested in you making money with your hotspot. And then as you get educated and set up yours for success, then you can go and help other people do the same thing. So I hope that's been helpful for you. You can see I'm really excited about this. We're doing meetings every day. We can't move fast enough. Right now, if we do have 1 million affiliates, that's the whole world. And we need millions of these hotspots. A lot of people look at the map and say, oh, I'm too late. This thing's saturated. No, I promise you that's not the case. We are going to need millions of these devices to satisfy all the companies that are moving their Internet of Things devices onto the Helium network. And that's why our participation in this is so vital to that. And the more companies that plug in, the more data transmission, the more HNT that's going to flow, and the more iHub happy reps we're going to have. So I hope that's been helpful. Chuck, I'm going to turn it back to you. I know we got about 400 people that have raised their hand and want to share what they saw at the on Saturday. So thanks so much for having me on here. Back to you, Chuck Hansen.
Hey, John, thank you. Thank you very much. And hey, guys, what I want to do right now is just, let me get rid of that off my screen. Let me just go over to Michael Stern for a second, because there are a few components that both Michael and I and John want each and every one of you to understand, that there's really more to this whole thing than really what meets the eye. So Michael, do you want to talk a little bit about the IoT bundles?
Well, sure, Chuck. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, hear you.
Yeah. So one of the things that's also been rolled out during the presentation is working with a group of really key players in the IoT space. I mean, these guys have put out some 20 million IoT devices. And at first I wasn't really quite sure, how I felt about having the technology out there, but they've got 3 bundles that we're going to be able to access. One they call a home bundle, one's a restaurant bundle, one is a retail bundle, and they kind of went over the various different types of sensors involved in that. And the lights were just going off for me when I was watching that. It was like I could see, and from the people around, they were thinking about how these were going to be able to open up doors to go in, to talk to people that were business owners, to talk to people that were restaurant owners, to talk to people that maybe wanted to look at different types of things that'd be beneficial in the house, whether it was a leak detector that would prevent them from having a water damage when they weren't around, and basically getting that information to them, or security devices, things of that nature. But, it is a major door opener to be able to provide specific solutions for people to be able to go out to make their lives better. I mean, that's the great thing about IoT, is it problem solving in a very, very powerful way. And then to be able to explain, oh, and by the way, you can have one of these devices that gets this data to the internet, and that gets you, you'll be able to earn these tokens as a result of it. And what's also really powerful, the way they described it, is a lot of people who have had different types of IoT devices with some sort of centralized device that gets their data to the internet they got something that goes awry in their location, that device also goes out. But the way they were explaining it with the Helium network, that network is overlapping with other hotspots in the area, and that keeps them going alive and getting the information that they need, even if the power goes out in their location or something along those lines. And so that was just, just an inkling of what's going on there. But this whole idea of adding the IoT devices is really icing on the cake. Our point of the spear is going out there, building the Helium network, and then being able to provide solutions, this being one of probably many solutions that we'll have along the way. But definitely, I could see the light going on big time and people out there going, wow, okay, this is something I know that I'm going to be able to do some serious business with.
Michael, and it's kind of, for me and for you, this whole thing has come full circle, right? You and I practically started in the security business.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that.
Back a long time ago, right? And then it went from, security to monitored security systems like most people have now. And then the new trend is not monitored security systems, but security systems that kind of monitor themselves with you as the person that is interacting with all these sensors and data and through an app. And these guys have built an app. It'll be finished very shortly, but they kind of showed it. And the company that is behind building this app has been, they're, again, two brand new partners with these IoT solutions. And what it means to all of us is monthly ongoing revenue, right? A monthly ongoing revenue from business owners. Walk into any business restaurant and say, hey, have you ever had a water leak in your restaurant? Oh my gosh, you won't believe the water leak that I had. Hey, have you ever had a freezer go out and you lost thousands of dollars worth of food? It's just constant, right? It's just constant. We've got a solution for all of those things. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. This is the godfather of IoT devices. This guy knows everybody. He knows everybody inside and outside of Helium, the company, right? Amir and Sean Fanning, and the list goes on and on and on. And we were just like, and it wasn't we, Rick was very fortunate to meet him, and they started talking, and the next thing, all of a sudden it all happened. The other company is called Oxit, OXIT, and again, just a premier company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And they are going to be there. These two companies are working together to make everything work together for us. So it's going to give us another revenue stream. The other revenue stream, and we're always concerned about revenue streams. Yes, we've got the hotspots and what they do. We're getting paid for deployment and building the network. And yes, in major cities, there's a challenge because you already have too many. But guess what? Go look at the map. 80% of the whole United States is empty. And that's where we're going, guys. That's our market. That's our place, is going and building out the rest of the world. And then, the next component is our marketplace. And the marketplace has just barely been scratched at. But Michael and I have seen some incredible demonstrations of artificial intelligence and education and just all kinds of things that are absolutely on the cutting edge of education. And what's happening today? People are getting sick and tired of education, how their children are being educated. And if you don't believe me, just go watch any news network. I don't care which news network you watch, and you go see what's happening and the upheaval that is taking place in school boards and cities and towns all across America. And it's just not America, it's everywhere. And we've got a partner that is on the cutting edge of intelligence and artificial intelligence. And it's, I certainly don't claim to understand it. But it was absolutely fascinating when I saw the demo. We also went on and looked at an incredible telehealth product, which we are definitely taking on. We've also looked at an incredible, amazing travel product. And if you don't think people are traveling, don't kid yourself. Las Vegas was absolutely full, right? The Mandalay Hotel was absolutely sold out. So don't kid yourself that the pandemic has, yes, it slowed it down for a little while, but how resilient Americans are, and that we're coming back, and we're coming back with a vengeance, and looking for. I've been using this platform for years and years and years, and I can't tell you the tens of thousands of dollars that I've saved as a result of this platform. And you guys are going to get very, very excited when you see it, and you see the other opportunities that are parallel to not only you traveling, but earning money on lots of other parallels in that marketplace. So, tomorrow night we're going to have a kind of a training on some things. So you definitely don't want to miss the training. Again, 9 p.m. East Coast time. I've been going through the chat here, and I want to encourage everybody to come with us on Thursday as we have a big debriefing, right? And I'm just going to call it a debriefing of all of the things that transpired this past Saturday and the prior 9 months that led up to that Saturday, and what the plan was and is moving forward. One of the things that everybody has to be very aware of, and that is that if you want to have an incredible long-term opportunity, the company iHub Global has got to maintain being solvent, right? I mean, it's got to make money, and so we looked at lots of different things, and nothing has really changed, guys. Nothing has really changed with the free deployment model, except for the fact that we just never expanded on what we already knew was going to happen. It was always going to be free deployment with a deposit, and that is going to be exactly what the model is: free deployment with a deposit, and that deposit will be refundable. You're going to hear all about it on Thursday. Nothing has really changed. Don't have a coronary over little things that happen. Again, this is a very cash intensive, listen to me, cash intensive business, because it takes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to secure these purchase orders on products that virtually no one can get. Our goal is to buy up and acquire millions, and trust me, millions and millions and millions of these hotspots as we get them deployed around the globe. And that requires an awful lot of cash. And you're going to hear, you basically saw Rick talk about it on Saturday as far as the lease option and the free deployment with the deposit. And so Again, we just wanted to give people, an option that if they couldn't afford the free deployment with a deposit, they had this lease option and have an antenna in both of those. It'll just be a certificate that you'll be able to get your antenna with. So, but all the other things that are coming to kind of backfill, if you will, and create other opportunities and other income opportunities for all of us, we're always very, very cognizant of. And, if you, I wish I had Dan Stamens. Dan is one of the board members. And I wish I had, if you didn't watch Dan's little presentation, it was absolutely incredible. And Dan's job is right now to help secure funding, right? Along with Jord Capital, and he's working with Jord Capital and that whole group. So, which we're all there, by the way. And so, nothing really has changed. Like I said, just take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe you didn't hear it all. Maybe you don't understand it all, and that's okay. It's all good. Just make sure that you're with us on Thursday. We'll have a sold out, trust me, over 1,000 people. We'll have the balance of everybody watching on YouTube live. And so there's no telling how many people. And let me tell you about this, whether you heard it or didn't hear it, we are going to have our next virtual event on December the 11th. So mark that down on your calendar. I don't know, it's only going to be a 4-hour event from what I understand. And it's really going to focus specifically on the marketplace and the products in the marketplace, and maybe some other peripheral things like maybe the IoT solutions and the bundles and the app and things like that. But December the 11th is the date of that. We're again going to be back at Worry Studios in Las Vegas and do those presentations, because quite frankly, it's the only way in the world to reach everybody. And we will do a better job. One of the things that we discovered in doing this was that we sent out an example of what you need to do. And there were a lot of people that followed the example to a T. However, they were looking at the example. They weren't looking at the live link that they were emailed. They were looking at the example link and trying to get on the broadcast using that example. This time, we're going to do it a little bit differently from what I understand, and we'll try to do a test, right? So that everybody has it. We'll do a test all at one time, so, or something. But yes, that was a challenge. And again, we learned, you learned, we all learned together. But as far as the event was concerned, it came off without a hitch. It started on time and it ended exactly on time at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So with that, hey, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here this evening. I hope, John, it was a great presentation. Loved it. And I want to get some of those slides because you've got some things that neither Michael nor I nor anyone else have. So we'll trade. So with that, don't forget the training tomorrow night, 9 p.m. We're going to go over some of the back office, the new Helium Track 2.0 and some of the components in there. And then we're going to go over, a few other things, right? Like the compensation plan and a few things like that. Wednesday, we do a very abbreviated 5 p.m. East Coast time business presentation. And that usually lasts about 30 minutes or less. And then on Thursday will be the big event of just kind of debriefing everybody and getting all the details. There was just so little time on Saturday, believe it or not, in 7 hours. There just wasn't enough time to go over every minute detail. And, you know, every business is run on details. So that's what we're going to be doing, Rick Cotton and Eric Z and myself and a few other people on Thursday. So tune in and just, you know, if you didn't watch Eric Worre's talk about the jungle, you know, there is the jungle that you've got to get through before, you know, you can get to the super highway. You go from the jungle to the bumpy road to the super highway. And we're not quite to the bumpy road yet, guys. We're still going through the jungle. So, you know, and some people just aren't cut out for the jungle. You know, that's not their thing. They want to wait until the super highway. But you'll have to watch Eric's talk because I'm not going to give away his message, but I've heard that talk over and over and over again. It was great to see my friend of 30 years. Hadn't seen him for a long, long time, and it was great to see him and his wife again. So, hey, God bless everybody. Stay safe, and appreciate everybody being here. See you Tuesday, see you Wednesday, and definitely see you Thursday. Okay, all right, Elton. Congratulations on winning that hotspot again. All right, man. See ya. Good night, everybody.